He wanted real magic. He wanted the potions to come true. You can't turn someone into a frog. You can't make someone fall in love with you, but you can do a self-love spell. And that's really the spark that started it.
We realised that we could create a product that wasn't just a fun play thing, but it was about creating a positive mindset through play.
At our age as an adult, it's really hard to do the affirmation because it doesn't come naturally because we didn't grow up that way. But imagine having something that you grew up learning how to talk positive to yourself from a young age. We had set ourselves a target that we couldn't leave our full-time jobs until we were able to pay ourselves $500 a week. So we basically worked night and day, probably nearly 2 years.
Jacinta almost had a mental breakdown at one point.
Well, that sounds like infinity hours. That's not 100 hours a week. That's just
Yeah.
all the time.
When we first started working with you,
Didn't we jump up like 400% in sales? It was a crazy year.
Blew up initially, 160% year-on-year growth, still massive. Managing being mums while you've been hardcore founders?
Yeah. That's
hard, eh?
Oh.
I was a part-time uncle recently for 2.5 days and I had to leave early. I was like, I'm getting the bus out of here.
we had to scrap our Black Friday sales last year because we just couldn't keep up because that was, again, around the same time as Shark Tank as well.
Yeah.
And it just got a bit too much.
What has been your strategy to handle the tariff uncertainty? What's the biggest challenge about making stuff in Australia? What about Shark Tank? What was that like? Welcome to Spill the Tea with Simon John Phillips, where we're going to talk all the e-commerce secrets and, I don't know, we probably won't get into that many secrets, but I'm getting better at
How many
managing.
secrets do you have?
Not even that many. I really wear my
You're pretty open.
Kind of wear my heart on my sleeve. So thanks for joining us, and want to start by getting into a little bit of the story. So it'd be cool just to, especially you, Jacinta, you probably got about 30 seconds to intro yourself and your background. Like, what'd you do? Who are you before Little Potion Co? And do you have any kids? Or give us a little brief on you, and you can start.
I've lived so many lives before the Little Potion Co. I'm Alicia, one of the co-founders of the Little Potion Co. with my sister Jacinta. And before the Little Potion Co, I've got a degree in textile design.
Cool.
And I've just done lots of different jobs. This is the longest job I've ever had.
Yeah, nice.
I am Jacinta and the other co-founder. And before the Little Potion Co, I did interior design for over 15 years. I loved my job and I was never leaving my job. It was my dream job until we created another dream business.
Yeah, dream business to own together. And both mums as well, so running the fams.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have 2 boys.
Yep.
And I've got one girl.
Very good. All right.
Yeah.
Love that. And so let's go back to where I'd love to start, and I'm really curious about this. What's the moment where the idea for Little Potion Co comes about? And where does it first come from?
It first came from my son wanting a potion kit, and I couldn't find anything on the market. He didn't want a science plastic kit. He wanted a Harry Potter kit, and it did not exist.
Gotcha.
So with my interior design background, I stole a box from work that we weren't using to create a potion kit. So I added little vials and things like that into it. So I created that. But then he wanted real magic. He wanted the potions to come true.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, you can't turn someone into a frog. And Alicia was like, well, you can't do a love spell. You can't make someone fall in love with you, but you can do a self-love spell. And that's really the spark that started it.
Yes, so it was my idea to bring in the kind of emotional side of it, and we realised that we could create a product that wasn't just a fun play thing, but it was about creating a positive mindset through play, and that's where we've kind of continued on with.
Yeah, love that. I love how it came together. That's cute. And then so you're going, we'll make this a business? Did you make a few of your mates, or what happened?
I remember saying to Alicia, when I loved making this kit for my son and watching him play with it. And I remember telling Alicia, I was like, I think I want to make a business out of this. And at that stage, we were going to literally make a box with potions. And
a wooden box.
A wooden box. And to this day, we've still never made the wooden box. And I remember saying to Alicia, I think I want to make a side business. And Alicia's like, I want in on it. And I was like, okay.
I had my own business at the time. I had a little shop, and so it was really helpful that I kind of knew what people were looking for, and I knew that it would be a really good product, and I knew that I sold a lot of affirmation cards for kids in my shop, and that's where that idea of incorporating that into the product came about, because I knew what people were looking for in the market as well.
That's so fun. It's so fun how there was all these little synchronicities for you guys to be like a little dream team.
Yeah.
Little dream
And
team.
I also knew that it was a product that I would have needed as a kid.
Yeah. And so did you start brewing it up at home in the kitchen?
Yeah, we literally did. We started working on our first kit. Obviously, we always wanted the magic to be around magical creatures. So Alicia and I grew up loving fairies and making fairy potions in the backyard and fairy perfumes for our mum. And so we were like...
She loved that.
She loved that. She was
She did.
stoked. Wears it to this day.
Yeah, absolutely, mud and all. So we made our first kit from fairies, fairy themed. The first spell we wrote was the self-love spell.
Yeah, which is what these bloody kids need, eh? It's what we all need, really.
Oh, absolutely. And I think for us, it was all about, at our age as an adult, it's really hard to do the affirmations that people say that you should do, and that you should do this positive self-talk to yourself. It's really hard to do because it doesn't come naturally, because we didn't grow up that way. But imagine having something that you grew up learning how to talk positive to yourself from a young age. So then when you are in those situations as an adult, it's quite easy to turn it around.
Especially when there's so much negative talk on social media and things these days.
And that's what humans kind of react to. My negative, this guy in my brain, he's so harsh.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, chill out, bro. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or imagine learning those tools as a kid.
Would have been lovely. When does it become when do you get to that point? You're selling a few. When does it get to the point where you're like, hold on a minute, this is a biz. Like, we can support our families with this maybe. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, I think having the shop, I was able to sell it to customers there, and I could see how popular it was, talking to people about it as well. And then when we launched our website, we'd kind of built it up a little bit behind the scenes. And then when we launched the website and we sold out our first kind of, what did we have, like 20 of each kit?
Yeah, 20
We
of
sold
each.
those within 2 weeks. And it doesn't seem like a lot now, but at the time it was
Oh, giant.
crazy. And then...
And especially from an organic point of view, like that was back then. We
What year
didn't
are we
do anything
talking?
paid. That was 2019.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this, the moments. I remember when I did my first $600 of singlets on a Sunday night, and the way that felt. Like, I've done millions and millions since, but those first moments when you sell your first 20.
And when it's someone you don't know as well.
Yeah.
It's not like
It's not
family.
your mate,
The first
yeah.
sale we made, I was like, we don't know this person.
No, and that first sale, like we literally hit go on the website, and it was within 2 minutes we got our first sale. So that was pretty cool.
And you've only got 2 products on the website as well.
Yeah.
Don't you wish you could go back? And I say this to I was saying this to Kieran from Coven Fox recently, because he's gone to the US and he's there and he's, I wanted to be doing more. And I'm like, take 2 weeks and just revel in the new milestone, revel in the new high.
Yeah.
Like, because I just think about all those moments where I was like, oh, yep, great, poof, and then on to the next.
We do really need to celebrate our achievements.
Yeah, hey, it's so easy.
We're going to potion for that.
Yeah, you're going to potion for that.
we
Yeah,
do. We do.
Yeah, we
But
make
yeah,
that good.
that's what happens as founders. There's always like the next thing and the next thing and the
Yeah.
next thing, and you've always got something in the pipelines, and the jobs are never finished.
Yeah.
So there's always something else that you're working on. But yeah.
So you guys are pretty confident pretty quickly then that, hey, this is a thing. This is going to work. And what did you do? Did you bin the jobs or the stores, or how did you guys get in full time? Was that a bit of
It was a
an
process.
effort?
It was definitely a process. Especially for myself, coming from a very well-paying corporate job, I couldn't just leave without paying myself. So we had set ourselves a target that we couldn't leave our full-time jobs until we were able to pay ourselves $500 a week, I think was all it was.
Yeah.
So we basically worked night and day, I think it was probably nearly 2 years before we could.
Jacinta almost had a mental breakdown at one point. There was a point there where you were still working your full-time job 4 days a week. It was during COVID. You had a bad back. You had kids at home.
Well, and one in prep that I had to teach.
That we've just found out is, well, not just, we've found out is dyslexic. So that was a real struggle. And then
work on the
business as well. And it was
pretty epic.
So you're burning the candle at both ends and in the middle. That's just like, that sounds like infinity hours. That's not 100 hours a week. That's just all the time.
Yeah. And then we got to a point where we were able to pay ourselves $500. I was still working full time and I realised we couldn't continue that. So I dropped my job to 1 day a week, probably for another good year, which was really, really hard to do, to try and switch my brain from working on the Potion Co. We had a staff member at that stage as well in my backyard. So I remember there'd be days and Jess is like making potions and I'll be like, I've just got to jump on I'd have 2 laptops. I'd have our work laptop for the Potion Co. and then I had my one for my building job. Yeah. And I would have to quickly switch like daily to quickly go and do something for them and then come back to the Potion. And it was really, really hard for my brain.
Even though you say it was 1 day a week, you were still working.
It was a couple of hours every day.
Which is different to a day a week. 8 hours spread. Yeah. And so that, because COVID, that's probably where we meet each other, right? On Thrive with Shopify, coming to that, into the program. There's a lot of founders out there that are still in that stage, in the like day job transition stage. Any advice? Is it just grit? Is it just bite down and it'll be worth it in the end?
Yeah, I think for us, we decided we just had to believe that it was going to work. So by the time of, was it end of 2020, when my garage was full of stock, my pergola was full of stock, and my husband's like, I want to have Christmas here, and there's pallets in our pergola. You need to find a warehouse. And we were like, okay, we just have to make it. We can't stay here. Yeah. And we were like, how are we going to afford this warehouse? And we were like, we just have to. We have to make it work. And we went and got our first warehouse and
made it work.
And something that you said to us once that I always tell other people is that your warehouse will either always be too big or too small. And that has rang true for us ever since. Yeah, because it was too big then. Then we grew out of it, got a new one. That was too big. Then it got too small. So we got a second warehouse next door. That's too big, but we can't fit the stuff we've got in there back into the other one. So letting it burst at the seams is definitely the strategy, and it often doesn't feel like it when you're stepping on top of yourself and you're in pain. It's just like, I want this new thing, but I've seen it enough times now to know that the devil you know is sometimes better than the devil you don't, right? Yeah. But that's, I mean, it's imperfect, and for you guys is basically a manufacturing business. It's not as easy to just go 3PL. Here you go, right? And so so you're working in the store, and then did you end up shutting down the store to go all in on Little Potion Co? Or? Yeah, I did. I was making kind of potions in the back of the shop. It was a pretty quiet shop in the town where I live. And I was making potions out the back there, and then all hours of the night I'd be there making potions, and I just thought, I can't keep doing this. And working the weekends as well, it meant that I could give up working weekends and just go all in on Little Potion Co. And I'm glad I did, because here we are. Managing being mums while you're being hardcore founders.
Yeah, that's
hard, eh?
Oh, it's...
I was a part-time uncle recently for 2.5 days, and I had to leave early. I was like, I'm getting the bus out of here. So I don't even know. I can't compute how you guys do it.
It is hard. I think the one great benefit that I don't think I could ever go back now to not having my own business and being my own boss is I have a child who is dyslexic and autistic, who has a lot of allied health appointments that I have to take him to weekly. And I had said to Alicia and even my partner, I was like, how on earth am I going to do these if I still had a boss and I had to make up those hours? So, it's hard because you work a lot of hours, but it's also great because you get to set when you're working.
Okay. Pros and cons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids come to work with us if they need to.
Yeah. join in.
Can't do that in a lot of other jobs.
Yeah, it's part of the game. Okay, cool. Yeah, so again, like, how'd you make it work? Well, we believed it into existence, running a family, like, yeah, focus on the positives, make it work. Yeah. I've always found you guys to be like, gritty's not a very nice compliment, but you know what I mean? I mean that in a night.
And we try and be we try and be positive about everything. And
like,
that's
just
all a part of
stay in
our
it.
business as well, is that positivity. And like, yeah, we try and keep that mindset.
But I
going.
think this business has made us that way. Like, I don't think we've always been these positive people, but being around our product, it kind of just,
The spells work.
the spells work.
It's magic.
Okay, and what about Shark Tank? What was that like? What's the goss? What's the behind the scenes
Well, we
on
signed
that?
an NDA, so we can't talk about
so
it
you
too
can't
much.
ever.
Did we?
Is that over yet?
Oh,
I
Did
signed
we?
it.
Yeah.
I signed it.
I didn't sign anything.
How long does that last?
I actually have no idea.
Yeah.
But it was a great experience. Like,
Yeah.
it was so fun. We recorded on my birthday, and yes, it was nerve-wracking, but it was heaps of fun. We woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We got our makeup done.
It was pretty fast paced. Like, from the minute we got in there, it was like go, go, go. And then you're on screen, and then it's like this whirlwind of, I think we filmed for an hour.
Whoa.
It's a long time. So there's a lot you don't, like, there's a lot that you didn't see.
a lot we recorded that they didn't show.
Yeah, we did demonstrations with them. That wasn't shown.
Yeah, it's that classic edit thing, right? It's like 7 minutes out of an hour.
Yeah.
What is it? And they
Yeah.
construct a narrative. Yeah,
There was,
interesting.
and there was some really amazing things said on there that, regardless of if it made it to air, that we got to take away from them. That was like, we're actually doing all right.
Yeah, we're doing great.
Yeah.
And it was cool that you got like an offer and stuff, but that in what happened there, are we allowed to talk about that? No.
Yeah, well, we just decided that we didn't want to move forward with it.
Cool.
Wasn't necessarily going to work for our business at the stage that we're at. Just
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So it turned out to be a good experience. And it was cool. It was like, it's just cool telling the story on that stage. This wouldn't be under NDA, but like, what was the, I think every e-com founder is curious about this. Like, is there a bump, you know?
Traffic.
Traffic. Like,
It's hard to tell because our show came out just before Christmas and we were already so busy. So it's hard to see. But we were like, how could it not?
there was some
Yeah,
though. There was
I
some.
mean, when it was actually on, we had 500 people on our website. So
okay.
that was yes, there was a bump. We've never had that many people on our website. Usually when we launch, there's like 200 people on our website. So there was definitely an increase there. Was there an increase in sales that day? Probably not.
Not a huge amount, yeah. I reckon if they'd shown the demo,
Yes.
like if the
Correct.
demo had gone
Yeah,
up.
I think the problem was our product is so unique. The show was about business, which is great. That's what they're about. And so it showed it from the business side. But from a product side of view and understanding our business, I don't think you would have walked away knowing what we did.
And that's why meta ads work for us, because we can show what the product does. I think
Actually
it's
does.
quite a visual, because it's not a product that anyone's ever seen before. A lot of people need that visual of what it actually does
Yeah.
so that they can purchase from us. So
And that's a good segue.
Yeah.
That's a good segue into the section we call Spill the Tea, you know? So is there any
how
milestones?
much money do we spend on ads?
How much cash, you know? Because you grew from here to here and then other people sign up with me and woohoo, and that's the model. But in all seriousness, like, it's been a really cool, it's such a cool journey. I love the way it's all come together for you guys. Are there any like juicy numbers or exciting things you can share to kind of, you know, solidify where you're at?
Yeah.
What are we talking? What have we got?
What do you got, Leish?
Well, when we first started working with you, we had a massive initial kind of jump in sales because we learnt how to do our ads, and it's only kind of grown from there. Do you know any stats?
I mean,
We've been working together 4 years?
yeah,
Is
I
it
think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in that first year when we started Meta, didn't we jump up like 400% or something in sales? Like, it was a crazy, it was a
wild.
crazy year. Obviously, that's settled down a bit now, and our average is about 165% year-on-year growth.
Yeah,
so it's
which-
still huge.
For this year.
The last year's been, it's sort of steadied out a bit more.
Yeah.
Which is where you get that, I guess, that average. But Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it's pretty cool. Like blew up initially, 160% year-on-year growth, still massive. And then this last year, which I think is important to share because, and I wanted to do this, like a lot of the content that founders see is like, it's the cherry picked case studies, right? Like 400%, 160% year-on-year growth, da, 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 da. And then when there's the tough year and like, oh, tariffs and this breakdown and all of this stuff happens and you straighten out, no one ever goes, what an amazing year we didn't go backwards. We grew by 5%. That's a win.
Yeah.
But like founders are conditioned to think like if I'm not growing 50% or 100%, then I suck and I'm broke. And then it's demoralizing and you stop, you start chasing ghosts and different strategies. It's like, it's okay to consolidate. It's okay to have a year where you are flat.
Absolutely, and especially I think then even looking at your profit as well. Like if you're growing year on year, but you're not actually growing any profit, then what's the point if your profit's going down? So I think that's something that founders need to also focus on is not just how much you're getting in sales, but how's your profit going?
Yeah, what's that look like? And you guys, what did you peak at like in staff wise? Like 15, ended up at like 15 team members?
Oh, I think it was even more than that at Christmas time last year.
Which is when it was really going.
It was hectic. Yeah, we had to scrap our Black Friday sales last year because we just couldn't keep up because that was, again, around the same time as Shark Tank as well.
Yeah.
And it just got a bit too much.
And we had to put our website to pre-order in December for January because we didn't think we were even going to get out the orders for Christmas.
Yeah, that was wild, right? We were staring down the barrel. We can cut this out if we need. We were staring down the barrel of $100 million months, right? Like, and which is like such a great spot to be in. And turned ads off on the 10th of December or something?
No, well, even for we did $1 million in November without doing a Black Friday sale. Like, could you imagine if we did a Black Friday and we were able to do that?
I was imagining. I know.
Would have been amazing.
And I guess that speaks to the constraint, right? It's like you've figured out, Mark, and I want to talk to you guys more about the ads and how you think you achieve success there. But I think the biggest story with you guys is the supply chain and how difficult it is as a Australian-made manufacturing business. And so, I think it's not every year for an e-com brand doesn't have to be growth at all costs. So this year has been about how do we actually stabilize the operations and maybe we could talk to some of the projects in there. Like what did you guys learn getting to that peak? $1 million a month last year and things are breaking. What did you come out of it going, okay, here's what we need to change?
Well, we realised that we've got two sides of our business. We've got the manufacturing and we've got the pick packing.
Right.
Yeah, e-com
two sides of the ops.
Yeah, and we've always been, first half of the day they pick and pack orders, second half of the day they manufacture because we've never been able to keep on top of things. So what we're trying to do, and we still haven't got it quite right yet, is get our manufacturing faster and our pick packing faster. And this year, how do we do that? Do we change our packaging? Do we, with the warehouse, setting up different ways of pick packing and just, we have to pay a team in Australian dollars, and how do we make the most of that team that we've already got instead of just keep putting on more team members, which is what we had to do last year. And
then it's casuals, and then you got to train them, and they're not efficient, and so that kind of doesn't solve the problem. It erodes a lot of the profit.
Yeah.
So kind of going, all right, we need a production line for manufacturing. We need a pick pack system that's operating, and then there's the financials, right? Financials and planning and demand planning and all of that kind of jazz.
Yeah, and one of the issues is that it's, the peaks and troughs of business is that we were on this trajectory up and it's kind of evened out this year. So we've ordered all of this stock thinking that we're going to be up here, but we're not. So that's the cash flow thing that every business has to deal with, that we've got too much stock now and not enough cash in the bank.
Yeah. And see,
We are not alone in that.
that's where's all my cash? And then
Yeah.
and then you open the door to the warehouse and it's kind of in there.
And look, and I think for us too, because we manufacture as well, the bigger we grow, the more we need to buy in for manufacturing, like machines, even storage and things like that. So because we're growing, we end up spending the money like just to get our manufacturing up.
Yeah, and the lead time. So you're going, because it's ingredients and then it's packaging and it's all these additional really long tail lead times, right? And so I guess going through that last year, was that the lesson, or was that okay, we've got to focus on the back end? Like, that's kind of been the pivot, right? Like, we hadn't really ever looked at this back end of the business as the priority.
Yeah.
And you can't scale the business that isn't ready to scale, and that we've discovered that we're not quite ready yet.
Yeah. Consolidate, bring the revenue back a little bit. Because people love it, right? The story, the brand, the products. And it's interesting, I think one of the lessons that we learned there was, if you can develop your supply chain or your operations capacity in sync with your marketing, then you maintain those periods of momentum. You know, when we're there and it's going, it's like the sales are there, but then they're not here in 3 months.
Yeah.
But there was millions of dollars of sales on the table there. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but sometimes, at least for me in my experience, like, it didn't matter how many times I got told it, I learned the things.
Yeah.
I had to end up learning the lessons for myself. So I think that's just a really important bit, you know, it's $1 million a month, cool, massive growth, cool. Yes, it's what everyone talks about. No, it's not what everyone's experiencing. The agencies and the coaching programs and the stuff, that's just basically what's publicized. But 90% of people are in similar positions to this, ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really important. On a more positive note, what did allow you to scale to such heights? What do you think was special about the offer or the creative? Like, if you were talking to one of your mates and they're like, "Oh, your meta ad's so good."
Yeah. I mean,
Tested quite a few different
we have
things.
tested. I think what really set our ads going was one particular ad. We all know Kayla for us, so our amazing American person who did a incredible ad for us, and it's still like one of our top ads today. And I think having that, even just when she posted it organically, I think we did 50K just in that day, which was huge. Yeah. And we paid her $500 for that piece of
Kayla.
Thanks, Kayla. We love you,
piece of
Kayla.
content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give us more, please. Can we have some more?
We can't afford her now.
We can't afford you now, please. One good ad. Interesting, right? A lot of the messaging in the market at the moment is test more ads, try more things. Have you tried this thing? But, we've been playing that game.
We've tested a lot.
We've been testing a lot. Quality of ad, like, just how do you then go and replicate Kayla, or did she set a bit of a standard, or like what?
Yeah, I mean, we've never been able to replicate her. I think her ad was down to her personality as well. Okay. It wasn't just what she said. It wasn't just the actual creative. It was her. It was her excitement. There's something infectious like about her. So I think it is getting the right person for your brand as well. There's plenty of UGC creators out there, but some of them do just all tend to sound the same. And there was something about her. There was something about her that just made you want to buy. It made you happy hearing the excitement in her.
Yeah, deep authenticity.
And then I think the back end as well, like once we started doing bundles, that really helped conversions. So I think, making sure that your ads are going to the right kind of landing pages and that especially for us trying to explain what our business does, but, for someone to land on our page and see a bundle that's got a potion kit, a wand, a cauldron, people get the idea of what our product is in like one kind of
And that really stepped up our average order as well when we started advertising bundles instead of just our $59.95 product and sending ads to the collection or the homepage, and now sending them to an actual product bundle that we'd optimize. There's lots of detail in that actual page. You can scroll down further than the product and there's more information about us as a brand. It's a really great landing page.
Yeah. And that bundle especially is making your ads work better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's interesting because that thing you're speaking to about the ad, like it's hard to even put your finger on what made Kayla's ad better than the rest. We were talking about it earlier. It's like there's like a feeling. The customer can smell it. They can smell like real authenticity, excitement, true energy. Like there's the body language and the tone of voice and the inflection.
Yeah.
And we had that period of like any UGC works, but I'm hearing like what you're saying, like it's got to be someone that authentically, truly loves your thing.
And 100%.
Yeah.
And that was why we reached out to her. We didn't reach out to her as a UGC creator. We reached out to her because she was a perfect alignment with what she loves in her home life. She loves Disney. She loves magic. So we knew, and she absolutely loved the product.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we didn't ask her to record that. We just sent it to her as a gift, and we were very lucky that she did that for us in the end. And then we asked her if we could buy it off her. I think a lot of UGC these days, you can tell it's scripted. And what we loved about Kayla is it was so unique. And, you could tell it was just her and her excitement. There was no script to it.
I think we're finding great with our ads, I think we're finding ads that are working for us isn't just one individual UGC creator anymore. I think we're finding mashups, so literally using B-roll from all different people, from real people, like actually getting our customers' testimonials and putting all of that together is what's working for us as opposed to just a single person with a voiceover.
Yeah, which makes heaps of sense. Like your product, you kind of got to see it in action, right? You know who you are.
Yeah, you want to see those kids actually excited, playing with the product.
It's also that thing that people just see so much content now. They get so bored. As soon as someone talks for too long, you scroll on.
I'm done.
You need to be capturing their attention so quickly now, and that's why the mashups, because it changes so quickly, it's
Here's all the fun ways that you
engaged.
can do this thing and it all makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. When you're thinking about how to sell, because the kid's the end user, the parent's the customer.
Yeah.
How do you balance that? How do you speak to the parent about the kit? Like because it's an interesting product, but you got to connect emotionally on it.
It's that nostalgia.
I was going to say, let's say that in sync with each other.
Nostalgia.
Okay.
Because people always comment, oh, where was this when I was a kid? I wish I had this when I was a kid. I used to love making potions when I was a kid. So it is those parents that are making these potions with their kids.
Yeah. The funny thing, though, how we came about that, and this is something I would recommend to anyone to do, is to literally sit there on your ads and go through every comment, and I put them into a spreadsheet into different kind of topics. And that was how I literally analysed it. And I had one for nostalgia. And if you saw my spreadsheet to how many fell under the nostalgia line, and that was how we realised that is sort of that perfect marketing because I looked at the comments.
Yeah, cool. So you're just in there pulling on that thread. And what is that? Look, because parents used to play out in the parks and in the fields and in the backyard, and now we don't. Like we used to be off the screens or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have screens back then, so we were always finding things to do that, was outside. And I think for parents, being a parent ourselves, I mean, our kids still use iPads, but we all want them to use them less. So having something that is going to get your kids off the iPad and back outside
capture their attention.
Yeah.
And I think that's also why we've realised we have a lot of grandparents as customers now, because they feel that same nostalgia as well. And it's something that they can connect with their grandchildren, because they can play with them in a way that they understand and remember. They don't understand the technology, and you can't connect with your child when they're playing Minecraft or, any of those games. But
Roblox.
you can,
That's got them, That's got market share.
Not in my house.
Not in our house.
Crazy.
Yeah, but you can sit there with your kids and make this potion, and it's a really beautiful bonding experience.
And I reckon it can be real hard to play with kids. Like, what
my
do
God,
I do?
it's so
what do
hard.
I do with the thing?
I
Like,
don't want to play dinosaurs anymore.
can we play families? I don't want to be the baby. Actually, no. Sorry. I don't want to be I like being the baby because I'm sleeping. I just sleep eat.
Yeah, playing with my daughter. I remember once playing, she's like, can you play with me? And we're playing with her toys, and then I'm trying to do something and she's like, no, that's not right. Okay, well, I can't even play correctly.
Yeah, I can't do this. So there's a opportunity to connect with your kids in a way that you're kind of having fun with as well, and you're teaching them about how to handle big emotions and all sorts.
Yeah.
Sounds like a no-brainer.
Perfect, yeah.
I need some. I'll be buying them. Yeah, interesting. That's a really good point. You're not playing right, Mum.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like when we first started this business, we didn't think about that option. We were just thinking of the children. We never realised how important this product is for parents to have a way to connect with their children.
And open up conversation as well, because you're talking about these cards and these affirmations, and it gives you an opportunity to say, oh, have you ever felt like that? Or I don't know what else.
Yeah. Other stuff. And you can connect with them and have a chat. It's a good jumping off point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're understanding that level of detail on who the customer is, why it's engaging, and that helps you build the angles and tell the story. And then you've figured out your style of creative, the ad type, which is like mashups, lots of displays of the kids having fun. Yeah. Awesome. And then and for you guys, started the running the ads thing, but ended up moving back into first fractional with us and then an agency, because talk to me about that, because that's a good example of a brand took the ad management in-house, but didn't end up actually feel like maybe didn't have someone that loved numbers. Or talk me through that journey. Like what happened with your in-house ad management?
Exactly. I mean, it was great to learn it and understand it. I think for us it was being two founders that are trying, and because we manufacture that, most of our staff is manufacturing. So all the like our office job, which is doing marketing and CFO and everything, is Alicia and I. We just didn't have the time to keep looking at the numbers and scaling it daily ourselves. As much as I loved understanding it, I felt like we were missing some of the opportunities because we just had so many other things on for the day that it was like, I didn't get time to look at it today, but you might have stuffed up and you missed an opportunity.
Yeah, and maybe it's not even a huge time sink, right? We were talking on it's like 2 hours a week to 8 hours a week, but consistently.
Yeah.
And for you...
But it's longer for us because we still don't completely understand what we're doing. Like
because you're not in there daily. Yeah.
Having someone that knows exactly what they're doing all of the time, it means that they're faster at it and they can do a better job.
You didn't really take to it like a dove to water, right? Like numbers, KPIs, ignore the things that didn't make perfect sense for you.
No. I'm creative, and the minute someone starts talking numbers to me, I'm like, la, 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 la.
Yeah.
Oh, what am I meant to be focusing on?
Yeah, so you didn't actually... That's really interesting.
I liked the gambling side. Like, oh, what if we try this and we can get this? But trying to put all those numbers together was just a lot.
I've got the 3 KPIs. I'm going to ignore most of this and I'm going to run this ad account methodically. It's interesting. Just didn't gel.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to understand as well. Like, for Vic from Freestyle Feet, she used to be an accountant. And so running the media buying for her, it's just like, I'd never pay anyone a couple grand a month to do that. Like, I can run it. I'm in it. I love it. I care about it. So And I think that's a message that's quite common in the marketplace as well, is like get rid of your agency, etc. And most of them suck.
Yeah.
So it's really tough. It was really tough. But I think there are scenarios where either oftentimes at the smaller level, if you don't have a significant amount of budget for a retainer to get someone really good,
Yeah. I was going to say too, I think also even if you are to take on an agency at some stage, you still need to know what's going on in your ad account, because how do you know if they're doing a good job? Yeah. So I think if you are a smaller business, you need to learn it yourself first, whether or not you learn it perfectly,
and
but you
stay
need
there
to learn
forever.
Correct, but you need to know the basics.
So it's like there's like 3 options. It's kind of like learn it, stay in it forever. Learn it not enough to be dangerous, then you can responsibly outsource it to a freelancer, a boutique agency, or if you've got the budget, someone awesome like Blue Sense, who are like, just shout out to Blue Sense. I've seen the work they do, they're brilliant, So that makes a lot of sense. I see a lot of ads right now as just like you shouldn't have an agency. It's the wrong thing to do, but that's probably not the right. I think it's mostly right, but not true for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we kind of found out, right?
Yeah, it was just became too much for us to do, to then try and do all the other things.
And it felt like it was also even the time was one thing, but it was the not being certain, not being sure. It almost there was like an anxiety factor.
Yeah.
Of like, which then slowed the creative down, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's real cool. Good little lesson there. Changing gears, product and supply chain. How do you come up with a new product? What's the process for you guys? Does it come to you in the shower, or is there some
it comes to us like late at night, and
our ideas are always there.
Sending you messages late at night. What about this?
Yeah.
I'm like, keep a notepad next to your bed, because it's always when you're drifting off to sleep, you're like,
those times, I know, and you go to bed going, that is a brilliant idea. I'm going to deal with that in the morning. And then you wake up in the morning, you're like, fuck, what was that idea? And it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's...
I think talking to our customers, talking to our wholesale customers as well, what people are asking for in stores, and then just what our kids are asking us for, as well as what we kind of think would work well with our products. And then when it comes to writing new kits, just kind of things that are around at the time. And
I got an idea. All these kids, I don't know if this is happening in Australia, all the kids are obsessed with like K-pop and the demon hunters and stuff.
Demon hunters.
K-pop,
Golden.
Golden.
Yeah.
So I don't know, demon hunting.
Yeah, we have thought about that.
I guess it's a fine line, because you can't do like exactly, because that's licensing.
That's right.
Oh, maybe we should bring back our monster kit.
Yeah, demon cat or something.
But I think, with all of our kits, there's this nostalgia to them, to magical creatures. So I think that has always been our starting point for a lot of our new products is, okay, what magical creatures are kids into? And every generation is into these. They're into fairies and unicorns and dragons. So that was quite easy.
And what kind of attributes do we think will go along with those creatures? So, we talk about how dragons are courageous and brave, and mermaids are strong and capable, and
other cool things which we focus on.
And unicorns, spread joy and kindness.
Yeah. But our kids definitely help us come up with them. I remember a day when my son got a bracelet from someone at school, and I was like, that was so kind of them. And I was like, I should bring home a potion. You can give it to him as a thank you. Mm-hmm. And William was like, can you make a thank you fairy? And I was like, Yes, let's make a thank you potion. So we brought out, it was just a little bottle of fizz, but as a thank you. So, there is a lot of inspiration from our kids and seeing their child kind of mind in what they're into.
Their imaginations are crazy.
Going, that's right there, talking to customers, and then there's a bit of a trending thing, but the trends are a bit here today, gone tomorrow. So it sounds more archetypal. You're more like connecting to those real stories that have been here.
And what difficulties children are having. So,
And have you ever had to make like tough calls around products? Because, you know, as one of the things with e-com brands is sometimes you end up growing too much and then you can't let go of products or.
Yes, we've just done that lately.
Yeah.
We just let go of 2 of our kits, and I would say you need to take the emotion out of it because we've held on to them for so long because we love them and they are so bloody good. But when we looked at the numbers, they were the 2 that weren't selling the most, and they're actually the 2 that cost us the most to make. So
ingredients.
It was the easiest decision to make when we looked at it just from an analytical point of view.
Yeah, but still hard emotionally.
Yes.
A lot of founders are emotionally connected to their product
And
range.
especially because we write all of the stories in there and spend all of this time researching and writing, and it becomes emotional for us. So
Were they some of your favourite kits? Or were they not really necessarily?
Some of the spells in them. So we've just discontinued a gnome kit. And I don't know why it didn't sell. Obviously, gnomes aren't as cool as
Gnomes aren't cool.
Gnomes aren't cool, apparently. But we had a spell in there that was called "Ain't Nobody Got Time for Trolls." It was all about gnome puns.
Yeah.
And it was a spell about banishing trolls or nasty people from your life. And I'm like, kids need this spell, but because it was in the gnome kit, it just didn't get the same love.
Might slap on a Korean style singer getting rid of a demon. It needs to be in the language.
And I think we will look at repurposing some of those into a different kit that we think might sell better.
Yeah. And so what made you get to the point where you're like, no, we're going to look at our product range analytically and we're going to kill the losers?
Well,
I was going to say manufacturing it all.
I was going to say that we haven't brought out a new product in so long, a new kit, that we thought we really need to get rid of some so that we can make space for more. We've already got 10 kits. It's a lot to manufacture.
Yep.
And to keep bringing out new kits, we kind of have to let go of some of the others.
Yeah.
So it's a necessity. And that's probably a natural cycle, right? Of like letting some products go and bringing some new stuff in. Yeah. You need that variance.
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants, I think to get that returning customer, you do need to have new things coming in. And yes, we have seasonal products that do bring people back. But I think our evergreen potions, like it's still nice to see something new and exciting.
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge about making stuff in Australia? So I've been banging the offshore drum and that, but
yeah. Look, I love making things in Australia because we can keep control of what we're doing. Even though it's more expensive cost-wise with the team, it still means that we don't have to buy in such huge quantities and store it either. So it is that balance for us. The biggest challenges are staffing costs probably. And
I was going to say, like another pro for what it being here, we are able to quickly change something if we need to. Like we've had some kits that we had issues with getting ingredients into New Zealand because it had lavender in it. So we're like, okay, well, we'll just take the lavender out and we can sell it to New Zealand that way.
But if we had boxes printed that had lavender on it, we're going to have to either scrap the boxes
6,000 of them
or
coming in.
cross
Or if
it
the
out or put a
ingredient-
sticker on it. Or
if the ingredient came in imported in that way, we can't just remove the lavender. So it has been great for those sort of things to be able to change.
Yeah. Well, look at you guys. What's the biggest challenge with manufacturing in Australia? Straight into the positives. Love it. There you go. Those spells work. See, they're brainwashed. Get your kids. Get this on your kids. And like even tariffs recently, that's pretty topical. You're on Channel 10. You're on Channel 10 on radio. That's been like tariffs for the Australian-made products are going to be lower, right? So there's an advantage there.
Yeah, if we were manufacturing in China, we'd be paying, I think it's 50% in tariffs, whereas at the moment it's only 10% for Australia. So it's working for us so far. I mean, who knows what will happen in the future, but...
What's the tariff thing been like navigating that? Has that been a nightmare?
It's been a hard week.
So exhausted after this week. There's just a lot of researching and changing things, and trying to talk to people and find out what's happening, and
But no
getting
one's got any
frustrated
idea.
with people because no one knows. And I'm like, I just want the answer. Give me the answer. And people passing you on to other people.
Who don't know, who pass you back, you start at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's pretty unprecedented what happened with Australian Post. Like, we're pretty connected. We've got 3PLs here and, some big brands, and they, actually kept that secret. Yeah. Or maybe they didn't, and I'm just out of the club.
I feel like everyone's just been kind of waiting because everything keeps changing, and the US government have said that they've changed things at certain times.
What's your
Trump? When I say that.
Yeah. Whoopsies. Put my hand up there. I was wrong about Trump. I was very wrong about Trump. I'm not a supporter. Thanks for getting me out of that hole at the time. We live and we learn, eh?
Oh, look, and like you said, you don't know what everyone else sees,
I bought
algorithms.
the dream.
Yeah.
I bought in. I was like, oh, surely
And also, you're a business person, so I could understand you seeing business sides of it.
I just thought.
Also, I don't know what people are seeing in other countries, but I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and they were talking about how when they were in the US recently, they're not seeing any information about the tariffs or anything. It's just not showing up in their algorithm, and they don't know whether there's the powers that be that are doing that. But people are seeing different things. The algorithm's showing different.
It's a weird world we live in.
Yeah.
What has been your strategy to handle the tariff uncertainty?
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky enough. We actually got a little inside information the night before. We found out that Australia Post was going to be suspended. So we already had maybe 12 hours up our sleeve. But for us, we are lucky enough that we still had FedEx as an option. We've always still used them as well. Australia Post is cheaper for us, but we've got our FedEx to look at doing the DDP and paying it, prepaying it. So the problem is we don't know what will happen with customs in the US. But for us, we are just taking kind of a calm approach. We haven't stopped sending to the US. We just think with the US being 50% of our market, that's not something we just want to make a quick decision on. We'd rather, give ourselves a week or two, and if we have to if we lose a little bit of money in the next week, so be it. But at least then we'll know some answers. So we're going to send a few parcels, see what happens. We've changed our website to say, look, there might be 2 weeks processing time, so we can at least send a few and see what happens. No one's got the answer. So I think to just say, that's it, I'm not sending, I'm not sure if that's the right answer either.
Interesting. So you're holding
But
the
it
line.
might be the right answer for those people that are doing that. Because everyone's business is different. We've got freaking out this morning because there's these big businesses and Etsy and different places that are stopping sending to the US. But that maybe they have a lot more to lose than we do if they're bigger businesses. Like, we're kind of that in the middle. Like, we're big enough that we can use a courier. Like, a lot of friends only use Australia Post, other friends in business. But then if we are sending, 20 parcels to the US and then we get slugged with crazy fees, then it's not that big a deal. If people are sending, thousands of orders there, then it's different. So every business is different.
It sounds like you're holding the line. Things are changing so rapidly around the place. You're testing the waters and keeping your gunpowder dry, ready to make a decision either way when there's more information.
Yeah, exactly.
That's prudent. I think that's what everyone should really be doing. I've got a couple closing questions for you guys. What's something you've always wanted to ask me?
This was a tricky one. We were trying to talk about this last
You probably
night.
asked it here. Yeah, anything. Sky's the limit.
We're not often worried about asking you anything because we're pretty open.
I know. I feel like we've asked you a lot of things. So this was tricky. I don't even know if we.
I was saying,
use it as a layup.
Who's been your favourite business to work with? You don't have to say us.
I will say.
You better say us.
It's great. You guys are up there. I don't know if I could get to a number one. There'd definitely be a podium.
Oh, I have another question actually. Who's been the most successful business that you've worked with?
Yeah, most successful business we've ever worked with would be two. There's it'd be one. One with Metalbird was very rapid, lot of money, lot of profit really quickly, and then came down and stabilized. And then the most successful long term would be Archie's Footwear, who are, we worked with them early days, early 8 figures, and helped them scale drastically, helped them set up their internal team, and then they moved away from us and Ruben, who was old. You remember him, right?
Yeah, Ruben was on Thrive.
He was on Thrive, yeah. And so he's the CMO there now, Ruben and Dan. And they're, I mean, that thing looks like it's going to go all the way to being, Crocs or a multi, they might have a B in their revenue numbers at some point in the future. So it was a real privilege to be a part of that and to help get them to where they need to go, And then when you get to a size that big, it's in-house, right?
Yeah, it has to be.
They've got the whole team there. That was a goodie. And what about final one? If I gave you guys an elite AI engineer, he can build anything in the world, what problem in your business would you solve? What product would you build? What system?
We'll solve this problem.
Solve me.
I'm joking.
I mean, it would have to be something to do with manufacturing.
Yeah.
I would love to somehow take our product and then be able to put it into some sort of format of exactly what machines we need, how we make it, and be able to literally pick that up and hand it to someone and go, this is what you need to do and make this for us.
Right.
I would like it to be all the different ingredients that we use and all the different products that we make into some kind of algorithm that tells you what's the best price, what's the cost, like the exact cost per gram of everything. Like we do it all by hand and by
right. So
and some of these products, have to get down to the I don't even know what it would be. It's not even
a microgram,
it's
a picogram.
Yeah, and we're like, we don't know how to work this out.
We don't get to that number. We don't do that math around here. So some sort of agent that's pulling your stock data, your supplier data, your sell-through rates, the quantities, the wastage, and giving you here's exactly how much of bicarb you need to order at this time in this warehouse, etc.
Yeah,
and maybe even you could have a thing where you just video inside the buckets and throw that in, and it's able to calculate visually what you've got left.
And I think that's the problem. Yes, there's lots of companies out there like Sin7 and things that we can set this up in, but the numbers still have to come from us, on how much you need of each product. I think we need the AI to help us fix that part.
You need an AI product scientist to help you interface with Sin7 and Shopify and your stock levels to stay in touch with your manufacturing. That's one of the harder ones. I've been saying to other people, we'll build that. So we'll take that under advisement, we'll try.
But also looking at all the cost of everything, and if there's certain ingredients that cost more, but we use, sometimes I don't know if we're using too much of that expensive ingredient in that product, and whether we'd be better off using a different product that's cheaper. And I think we have too many ingredients, but Jacinta loves having everything a different color, and then whether there's a way to consolidate the ingredients.
This could also be an AI negotiator to sit in between you guys and help you make decisions. I think we'll work on that. I want to build all of the little AI agents that could help brands solve the most painful things. Final thing, as we wrap up, what about the e-commerce accelerator? We've worked together for probably coming on 5 years now through Thrive and then in the accelerator. What would you say to brands? What do you reckon our X factor is? What separates us from the market? Why would you work with us over e-commerce equation or the agency down the road?
I think
Go.
Yeah, just feeling like we're really a part of something, being in a small team, I think we've said it before, that there's something about you that you've chosen, just really brilliant, kind, wonderful people that are really invested in the brands that they work with. And I think that that's really special. Just being able to work really closely with the team as well. And
it feels personal, and it feels like it's one-on-one. Even though you're in a group, it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, guys. Amazing.
yay.
High fives.
Woohoo!